You know what? I can't get to like it to allow to pay lo ba bua di date tse eleng gore they were born again. No, I don't remember. I don't remember, but I know that I'm born again. I think mathata I'm ke gore ne ke nna ke le born again beke le beke. Gore hela ha moruta na re if you want to give your life to God ke nna yo every week ke nna yo gore ke feel gore di betsa this week ke ba go di thatswa ke simola sesha. I think in the beginning of my radio journey, my biggest challenge was feeling like people don't like me because why do you have that look?
Hello everybody, welcome to the Studio Hub series. This is a segment whereby we showcase some of the talent that we find here in B-Dub. And today we have a special guest, a beautiful guest for that matter. She is a radio host and a filmmaker. So help me welcome Catalina.
Everybody, my name is Catalina, but you can call me the only cat that you should be addicted to. And I am a Yarona Fm on-air personality. And today, Mo and I are talking about all things radio.
Hey, so Kat, welcome to the Studio Hub series. This is a podcast whereby we call experts and emerging creatives to come and explain to others how does their industry work, or more in the creative entertainment industry, right? So, basically so that they can get a gist of who you are.
Okay, dumelang batswana kwa lapeng. My names are Refilwe Kathleen Onana Pudi. Memo strateng ke bitsa Catalina. Which is Catalina. That's where cat is from. So go skolong batho ne ba feel gore Kathleen is too white. Like never feel gore nne le ke la sekgowa blind mona ko ena Catalina. So the same way gona le Pauline, gona le Paulina, Magdalene, Magatalena, Kathleen, Catalina. So it just stuck. So a lot of people started calling me Kat, short for Catalina. I'm 25 years old by profession. I am a writer. I am a screenwriter. I am a film director. I am a wardrobe stylist. I am an on-air personality, which is a radio personality. I am a television host. I'm an MC. So all things that involve creating content and all things that involve entertainment are things that I like. So yeah, I love entertainment. Got the same way I am entertainment, it's the same thing I consume. So I love watching movies, I love listening to radio, I love listening to music, I love going out and interacting with people, I love talking to people and getting to know them. It helps me in my line of content, it helps me come up with proper stories, it helps me come up with radio content. So I'm just a social butterfly.
Okay, I see. So Catalina, is it your Oman name? Or something? Because now I got the Catalina. Nella di vibe, it's my bed about Colombia, bo Mexico. Come on, let me say, all of a sudden, one of my starts to machine gun. Not take my side. Lina la Katlin, Lempa, the vibe on it.
From my friends back at school.
At school.
Never feel Kathleen, so it's stuck. So it's not in my omang.
Okay.
The proper one, limo omang ke Kathleen.
Kathleen. Okay. So tell us, how did you get started in the radio broadcasting industry?
Yo. Okay, first things first, it's all God. I never understood when people would say it's God. God. But the moment I developed a relationship, I realized that most things, not even most, everything is impossible without God. So I think this was in 2018, 19, I always wanted to be on radio. I grew up listening to RB2, Yarona Fm, RB1. I loved Captain Sean. I remember when I went to Form 1, Form 2, Form 3, my junior school, Captain Sean had a show on RB2, Paikela, from 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. I would wake up in the morning, my girls and I would listen to that show. When we'd get to school, we'd talk about what he talked about. So I developed a love for radio. And I remember my grandmother Antare, you need to read because I grew up raised by my grandparents. And I just developed a passion for it. So one day prayer petition, what we want, right? So I wrote radio, TV, New York Film Academy, traveling, fashion. I wrote a whole entire list. And lucky enough for me that year, I had a friend, Tota not even had, we're still friends. His name is Trevor Wahile. So Trevor says, listen, Trevor was hosting, or he was co-hosting rather, a show with Lerato Mudiaga on Yarona FM. I get it. The show is called Recess, and it's from 7 to 10. So it was a show about sexual-related health, right? They had a feature Mogoyone called Don't Get It Twisted, which was sponsored by the UNFPA. So Trevor calls me one day, Odi ke apere sketeng yana se pinky le skipara because ne ke nna go odi Trevor nteletsa tsala me ke makere go rileng a re chomitsa tseno re bua ka HIV and testing o le monana but ke palwa ke go bona motho nka mo interviewang nthuse ho ke re wa re ke te ke bue ka mogare mo radiong ke go reng what am I going to say I don't know tsamaya le clinicing o ye go itesta o bota go mpolela gore process ya go testa ine ntse yang what was your experience ke mra ke rela ya no hanga itela madua ile gore ne ke sa ba ke go ira yang on thare no just go come and talk about it ta bona gore re ira yang okay no problem. That was the first time I tested for HIV in my life. So I go ke clinicing ya Julia Molefe, I get tested, I get my results, and I go to Yarona FM, and it was in Fairgrounds at the time. So I get there, we do the interview. I did a very good job because they then contacted me after that and they said, listen, we love your energy. We love, the type of person that you are. You're very relatable. Would you like to be a female co-host and work with Trevor? So I was like, oh, this is awesome. So I came into radio as a contributor. So the UNFPA took us for training. They would tell us, this week, la sugar daddy. Next week, intergenerational sex. Next time, next time, the contraceptives. So they'd give us information, package in a way that young people would understand. And then I'd get to radio and then we'd start talking. 2 years down the line, Yarona FM opens what do you call this? A call out for presenters, game changers. And I was afraid because maybe I'm already a part of Yarona FM or they probably think it's conflict of interest. No. One of the guys that side called application, what's going on? So I applied and I got in, and then that's when I officially became a Yarona FM radio presenter.
Wait, so I played the Yarona FM. What do you mean?
Okay, so what happened was, right, we have three-hour radio shows. and clients will come and they will buy time from a radio show. So the UNFPA had bought space. I get, let's say 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. And then more that space that they brought me and Trevor. Bare bana ba rona ke ba, they are the ones ba ileng gore ba taba bua. But Lerato was there, Elena managing the desk, Elena making sure gore sengwe le sengwe se buiwa sentle, Elena making sure gore, you know, we still appeal to the target market, Yarona FM. So I wasn't a part of Yarona FM at the time, but that's how my journey on radio started. I only became a part of Yarona when they took me in for the Game Changers training program.
Okay, so are you a Christian?
Yes.
So when tell me your journey, when did you first meet God? Who realize everything is ran by God or in your life or anything of that sort?
You know what? I can't get to a lot they were born again. No, I don't remember. I don't remember, but I know that I'm born again. I think matata I'm born again big. If you want to give your life to God, every week this week.
So what does it mean to be born again actually? What does it mean?
I think to me, to be born again means receiving Christ and living on earth knowing your identity in Christ. You're living on earth knowing I'm a child of God, I'm a daughter or I'm a son of the Most High King. So it now means when you now know your identity, you live differently. You don't live the same way other people live because you're governed by the principles of the Bible, which only come when you're born again, when you now understand God and you understand your connection with God. So I think my first encounter was, I think, Negabala Form 5. Negabala Form 5. So you know this thing where letabolele kore o sa bala o bona gore yey go hamana ke aba exam go mashe and go hamana ke go tsa 0 mme ke utlweletse re o mongwe gate go na le monno mongwe na gate ke ene modimo ako ke buelena ako ke buele Jesus Christ ke bone gore will he save me. So that's when I learned about God. Funny enough, I was scared of failing, so I prayed so that He can help me pass, and I did pass. This was before BGCSE. It was during that time. I became feel like, oh, okay, because I had made a deal with Him. And in learning about the Bible, that's when I actually fell in love with God. And then I fell in love with a Christian. When I fell in love with a Christian, I wanted to impress him, right? I feel like, hey, Meo, you're woman of God. Meo, you know, she's the one you longer, she can lead the family. So I fell in love with a Christian, and in me falling in love with a Christian, and in me thinking I'm impressa, I ended up learning about God, and I ended up falling in love with God. Today I read John 1 verse 13. You know, it ended up becoming a part of me. So it's a funny story. But since then, God and I we've been together. There's a lot of challenges. There's a lot of ups and downs. My faith gets challenged a lot, but we're still together.
Mm-hmm. So in the radio space, right? The producer, all different departments. So what attracted you to the role of radio hosting?
I think it's like I mentioned in the beginning when I was telling you about myself. I think it's my love for people, my love for content creation. So I love being, I hope this doesn't sound prideful, but I love being, you know, the life of the party. I love being, you know, the center of attention. I like it, you know, I like it. Not that, but I like it. So I like hosting people for interviews. I like talking to people. I like ebe ke tsa khanya tenkisa ko radio mongwe le mongwe yay means I would do a college. Like I like coming up with a topic and picking your brain and seeing how you react to it and how you answer to it.
Okay. Yeah, probably you fell in love with knowledge or rather knowledge basically. So what skills and qualities do you believe are essential for a successful radio host?
Okay. First things first, a radio voice. You need to have a radio voice. You need to have a radio voice. I don't believe in it. Maybe people believe in a radio voice. For me, it's what you said, karata knowledge. For me, I listen to what you're saying. I don't listen to the voice. I listen to what you're saying. So that's number one on my list. Number one would be, what information are you giving me, right? So your skills, you need to be a very informative person. You need to be motho e leng gore ha ile gore go bua ka politiki wa khona go akgela, ha re bua ka sports wa khona go akgela. You need to be well versed in dilo tsa lehatsi, right? Because batho ba bangwe ga bana di TV, ha bana social media, bana le radio hela bone, bana le Omega hela e ha bolaong. So the information that you are giving is information that somebody uses in their daily life. So you have to be well versed, you have to be confident. I could be doing anything with my time. I could be on Netflix, I could be on my phone, I could be partying with my friends, but I'm choosing to sit down and listen to you on radio. So I need you to, be energetic and be confident and, give me those vibes. Okay. I think another important thing is you need to be social. Like if you are a radio host, you need to know the person that you're talking to is your friend, your sister, your dad, your mom, your lover. So whatever content that you give them has to be content that can resonate with them and that can make them feel welcome, right? My goal as a host is when somebody's listening to me, they need to feel like we're together, there's a connection. So that's also an important skill and quality. I think that's all I can think of now. If something comes up, I'll mention it.
So can you tell from a conversation motho sa se buang like mothating a wana le confidence or something of that nature just by listening to them?
Yes.
To the voice.
Just by listening to your voice. Usually when people don't have confidence, babua the same thing half-five. Maybe repeat the hell in different words. So I want to know this person is not confident because I feel like they need to keep on saying this thing over and over and over. And you're right. And I also think that confidence is important because you make me believe in you. Nobody wants to listen to somebody that doesn't believe in what they're saying and that doesn't believe in themselves. So when you are confident in yourself, I listen to you and I'm like, oh, okay. So if I'm talking to Mo and Mo says this, then let me actually listen because there might be something there. So confidence is number one.
Okay. So can you share some memorable experience or moments from your career as a radio host?
I think one memory that I have, interview 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Interview hele marapo. Inali advice it is so wonderful. And then ke sa tshuba mic. Ke tshubile mic wa ka. Ke sa tshuba mic wa guest. Oh my God. I remember ibile that day. Kedi Lezozo sent me a message. Are hey la ngwanyana. Ubua le mang. Ruta wena hela. So it's a painful memory, but it's a memory every time I get an interview. Can I get check or am I go on? Lucky enough that happened. That's not even lucky. It happened during Game Changers. So fortunately for me, it didn't disqualify me because I guess they saw what it's a mistake. It wasn't that hectic. So talented because if it was another story, maybe I wouldn't even be on radio. I think another wonderful memory for me is this year. And then the guy was listening to Yarona FM. And I was just there like, oh, do you listen to Yarona FM? I gotta research. Do you listen to Yarona FM most of the time? Yeah, I do. What do you like about it? No, who youthful, music go up to date, people like a talkie steaky. I'm like, now you be like Yarona FM, hello, wanna link that thing. That person mentioned my name. Killer number one. are mona gona le ngwana o mongana mona wa yena o le ha utu mona kene cat ke mara ke e lo re cat o irileng are mona cat a re ibile ena ha ko re cat a re ha pate monna o mo letsang ka WhatsApp ke re e lo rena re alo leng are malobana a bua gona re ene o nyatsa monna o letsang ka WhatsApp ha mmate o bata monna wa airtime every single time cat le mo micing dikgang tsa go ke dikgang tse eleng gore di na di bua mo strateng tse eleng gore no sa di solohele mo radiong but they make sense and they're engaging and they're nice ke make have you ever met Cat? I don't know, I've never met her, but one day ke ta mona ke take mmolella gore she's good and he dropped me off go airport junction. I didn't have the guts to say I'm Cat. So I just kept quiet. I was like, Cat. I was sharp. And I was so, that day I was so happy. I was like, what?
Wait, so motho na go tlotlela ka cat. O na le ene mme o sa moe gore cat.
He didn't know I was Cat.
Okay.
He did not know.
Wow, that's amazing.
He didn't know. So it's something that happens a lot. Most of the time, people will just be like, but the moment somebody says this is Cat, and whenever somebody says this is the only cat you should be addicted to, because that's my tagline. I love saying that so much. People are like, that's you. So I think that's also another memorable moment for me when people finally recognize me. And people are like, the only cat you should be addicted to. I like it because I didn't know if people would get it. I didn't know if people would find it interesting, but they did. And yeah, but on a bank
but then voice but then on that event how mention your tagline ke recognize man, voice, it sounds a bit familiar. Until what I meet.
I read meet. Hey, I'm going to go on a shy baker Hasinna.
We like Ibamos at Arapoka or Kajumela. What are you Ibamos at Tara? No, Hasinna, Ragudumela. Yana got an intelligence. Like alone, carries Lagote. So, how do you prepare for shows, right? Can you walk us through your creative process, like when preparing for a show?
So first things first, I think the most important thing is knowing your target market. Who are you talking to? Why are you talking to them? Are you talking to young women that are married? Are you talking to 25-year-olds like myself? Am I talking to creatives? No matter what I try and do, nothing is happening. Once you identify who you're talking to, it's easier for you to generate content around those people because they're able to relate, they're able to understand, and they're able to engage. You know, those are the three most important things: for somebody to relate, for them to understand, and for them to engage. So after identifying my target market, I then come up with content that relates to them. Usually the content that I give out is content that I would like to listen to. So gauge would I want to listen to this? Would I like something like this? And if I do, I usually talk about it. Or if it's something I'm curious to find out what people think, I usually, talk about it. The most important thing is don't stress it. Don't start saying, the most simplest thing is the one thing where you will see people have different ideas on how they see things. So after all of that, I then script or write down my ideas. We call it a show prep. So yes, we call it a show prep. So show prep has, everything you're going to be talking about in detail. And, a lot of people think that radio presenters wing it. Some do. Some use a show prep. And show prep helps you because you don't make mistakes. How your show prep and you're reading. How we solo because spina. It's working 10 times. Did I say this? Let me mention this. So a show prep helps you keep track of your ideas, and it also helps you keep track of time. How your show prep, this is what I'm going to say, and then you repeat it. It's 2 minutes, which means it can fit into the 2 minutes that I've been given to speak. So show preps are important. Scripting down your ideas is important. Most people feel like you're only creating creative how bua selo se tswa mo tlhaloganyong. That's not the case. The most creative people still read the show prep. Bo Euphonic, the guys by the Breakfast Club, Bonebo DJ Fresh, they read.
Amape, can you give us a picture of how a show prep looks like? Is it more like a movie script whereby you mention every word you just write topics or no, I'm going to talk about this and then just wing it or freestyle on this topic? Give us a picture of show prep. How it looks like. Is it like a script is a movie? Because the script is a movie, right? But exactly
okay, there's both ways. Usually in a show prep, it's supposed to be detailed. Good morning, BW. My name is Kat, and I'm the only cat that you should be addicted to on today's edition of Cat Uncaged Obala. I get it, right? Today we're going to be talking about the third voters registration supplementary. Why are we opening voters registration supplementary registration for the third time? I've already said registration 3 because it's coming from my head. I'm winging it. But my show prep, there's a difference in the delivery. There's a difference in the tone. So for some people, if they don't know what they're talking about and they're not well versed on the topic, they write things word for word for word. Right? And for some people that are comfortable reading things for word, for some people, like let's say if at all I'm going to be talking about, let's say, lighting and different types of lighting and what they mean, because it's something that I live with and it's something that I know because I'm a writer and director by profession, it's easy for me to talk about it. So maybe get like split light. Ha ke re split light ke a go ithalosa, ha ke kwa like butterfly lights, ha ke kwa like ramrat, ha ke kwa like 3-key lighting. Those are things that I know, so I'm able to just talk about them from the top of my head. But if you come and you tell me gore ke bue ka di fixed account, there's nothing I can say. So I do my research, right? And then I write it down. So I think it just depends on the radio host. But if you're thinking of doing radio, I would advise you do the show prep and you write it down word for word.
Okay. So what challenges have you faced as a radio host and how have you overcame them?
I think in the beginning of my radio journey, my biggest challenge was feeling like people don't like me because... why do you have that look?
Why would you think that?
Because there was an engagement. You don't get what's up, right? So let me know what you think about this topic too. After the pina, let me know what you think. Refresh our WhatsApp. And I was so sad because I felt like people don't like me. They don't relate to my content. They're not engaging. It means I'm not interesting. Am I even a radio presenter? Because the radio shows about bo Foxy, Miss GKs, engagement, hotline bling. And it was a very humbling moment when one day, because I always listen to Yarona Fm, and I met somebody one day and they talked about that very same moment when cricket. Right? So that moment when I thought nobody was engaging, somebody had consumed the content so much, they remembered it and they brought it up the next time they saw me. It's not about me, right? My job here is to entertain, it's to inform, and it's to educate. Once I've done those 3 things, then I'm good, right? Whether somebody sends a message or not, because what if you're busy? WhatsApp, data, busy, energy reply the message. Let me not take it seriously. As long as I've executed my content in the best way possible, that's good. So that was my challenge, and that's how I overcame it. I overcame it by accepting that not everybody is going to reply you. And sometimes your topic, it's interesting to listen to, but not interesting enough to comment on. And that's fine. What am I going to do? If I want you to send a message, then I need to be controversial. If I want you to reply, then I need to say something. I need to poke the bear. I need to make sure I need to get an emotional reaction out of you. And once I get it, that's when you will end up replying. Because one of the time when I was like, guys, how do you feel about men? I just talked about myself. Hey, they called me. Basadi le bona ba re ke dumalana le wena Kete, and I'm worth the airtime. So when you come with a thought-provoking topic, and when you come with your stance, or naga is this how I feel, it's easier for someone to say I agree with you or I disagree with you. I think another challenge that I faced was what was it? Interviewing people. Funny enough, interviewing people. And I'm still learning that I used to interview people that I loved, that I grew up watching. So I now become a fan. I go interview once. Oh, so sorry. How can I put it? There's nothing wrong with being a fan. The only problem comes when it now looks like I'm putting you on a pedestal, and when in that moment the both of us are stars, the both of us are amazing. So the way you and I interact, it should be two celebrities sitting motafoleng. And then and then interviewing. I'm there for the truth, I'm there for information, I'm there for the entertainment, but most importantly, I'm there for the listener. What does the listener want to hear? The listener wants to hear the very same question I'm afraid of asking you. So I'm just going to ask it. So now I've gotten to a point where I'm like, wait, sorry, King. Before an interview, I interviewed Young Black. Before I interviewed Young Black, listen, I don't know you. I'm hoping for Nalo and Artana Malaiti. So I'm gonna ask you some serious questions, and Oscar, it's our personal. It's all for the listener. But I was a fan. I loved Ben Khaya so much. I love Young Black's music so much. But I needed to put away that fan. Yeah, sure, they have more money. Yeah, sure, they have a better status and they have more power. But at the end of the day, you're a human like I'm a human. So if I were to meet you, Mostrating, the same conversation we're having now should be the same conversation that we're having on air.
So finally, this thing sent like you were feeling you were not happy or there was no engagement the first time you see one, right? But then homo is like your compare the likes is it already one more social media, right? So don't you think homo khona go khosa motho gore a nne le depression, because now it seems like your comparison do yatsa gonna yana go engagement on alone as a radio host. Let's only do the likes it in social media. Is it not the same? Do they not bring the same feeling?
They do bring the same feeling. They bring yeah, I think they bring a bit of an egotistical feeling. There's nothing humbling than thinking you have a fire topic. Nothing. That happened to me today. Get saying I get yay topic let's go. Nothing. How's the mix? Mexico and sisters. So I realized that why do I want engagement? Is it because I want to see if people are interested, or is it to boost my ego? Do I want to, am I the one that's addicted to validation? Am I addicted to, 10 people replied me, 10 people shared my post? Why am I posting this on social media? Is it for me or is it for validation, right? Once you find out or once you answer yourself, then things become easier. Whether people comment or not, whether people share or not, it doesn't matter. But it doesn't change the fact that they consumed it. Babone, babadile, bautule. Exactly. Some people, hela mutata nga posta full stop. batho ba go tahela ba tabogile. Some person o kgona go posta hela dilo tse di informative go nga bua ka modimo kana bua ka finance kana bua ka botlhokwa ba go ya sekolong, and they won't get anything, not even one share. But trust me when I tell you that people read that. They read it and it sank in. They just chose not to engage for whatever reason is known to them.
Okay, so how do we engage and connect with your audience? Any tips for building a loyal fan base?
I engage with my audience by being authentic, being me. So the cat that you listen to Moridion and the cat that's in front of you now, is there a difference? You can be honest.
Yeah, I kind of know when I listen to Cat on radio, right? It's like, there's this thing like radio host, right? He sees the face, right? And then and then I became in love with the voice, right? And then I would imagine the face, it's a missing a voice. You get, but then I get a discrepancy. It's like, how what's amazing? Say niggas I can't tell face yet and I'm voice. How what's amazing? Like I can read it on radio. Usually I can tell what okay. Moto by the time I go maybe I'm going to find what maybe she's a pretty girl or something just by listening to the voice. So when I like already tell I could pick or I could pick or I make like Catalina. On some instances,
I get you.
And I get most by the voice. And then I create that picture.
But in terms of personality?
Good personality, you cannot be super. When I want to YouTube because when I want to do more, I can't go authentic. How I all program to okay, get is a tune in on radio. When I got a cat to the radio again, which means you are really authentic.
I love that because that's basically it, being authentic. Because but like we're not dumb. We can tell when you're not being authentic. And imagine getting morale on air, and then one day okopana le nna mo fairgrounds mall, and okopa picture and I'm like, what are you doing, woman? And it turns out I'm only nice because I'm on radio. But in real life, I'm not a nice person. So I try to be as authentic as I can because some people genuinely love me for who I am, and I want people to love me for who I am, not an image that I'm portraying or a person that I'm trying to be. So in me being authentic, people are able to relate with me. So I'm honest about a lot of things. I don't hide things. BDF day. It was BDF day that day, and I told him I've never been there. Because they were going to be afraid of judge you. But for me, that's not the case. I've never been there, and I'm honest because I'm not the only person in Botswana. Somebody has also not been there, and for them to know somebody is in my shoes, or thinks like me, or lives a life like I lived, or is living a life that I'm living, it makes it easier for them to relate to you and to connect. And loyal fan bases are built based off on authenticity. The thing about fan bases is, right? They just come here for 2 minutes because Ketwa Trenda, she's the best thing right now on radio, so Ket, I get it. But then the moment Luche comes in and then she becomes the next best thing on radio, those people can shift from Cat by Luche, right? But loyal fan bases are people by Leongore, even if Luche comes or Sway comes or LB comes, and I'm mentioning because but even when these people come, they are still on my side because they love Cat for who she is. Right? So you build a loyal fan base in being authentic and being consistent. Be consistent, whether it's being consistent posting or being consistent in the way that you think, the way that you talk, in your energies. That way, if you're always consistent, people can actually rely on you. And that's how they end up liking you.
Okay. Now I get the gist of what you're talking about. So, how has the technology and the rise of streaming services impacted the radio industry? And do you think, as Kate, or like radio is dying? Can I?
No, I don't think radio is dying. I feel like if radio was dying, then we wouldn't have people that want to be radio presenters. You know, we wouldn't have industry ya radio in Botswana. I mean, how many? We have what, 4 or 5 radio companies in Botswana that are all doing well. I think radio can't die because it's a form of entertainment, 1, and 2, it's a form of advertising, right? The same way there's digital, the same way there is word of mouth advertising, the same way billboarding, radio is a form of advertising. And when you look at the number of people that listen to radio, if you come and you place your product on air and you advertise, how many people are, buying into that product? How many people are learning about your product, learning about that organization? So I think the thing with streaming platforms is it's a lot of competition. It's brought a lot of competition. It's what I said earlier on. You could be anywhere, doing anything with anyone, but you're listening to me right now. What value am I giving you that you can't get online? What value am I giving you that you can't get on TV? What value am I giving you that you can't get on a billboard? So I always need to make sure that, content is fresh, content is organic, content, is something, say, long somebody wants to hear about. So streaming platforms, they're competition, but once you assess the competition, then it's easier for you to come up with a game plan that's, very, very strong. I think now it's very interesting because we've got podcasts like this one, right? But the thing about podcasts is some podcasts don't play music, right? And that's where you can lose some people because concentration span about is very short. So if somebody is going to watch something for an hour and it's not interesting them, in the first 20 minutes or 30 minutes. But with radio, we give you the best of both worlds. We're giving you music, we're giving you advertisement, we're giving you products, but we're also giving you entertainment. So now you're learning about this brand, we're talking about this, and you're also listening to the number 1 song in BW. So you're getting, all sides of the coin. So I think radio is far from dying.
Oh, okay. So streaming platforms are just competition.
They're competition. We'll see. We'll see if, they will stand the test of time. But no, radio Tata is not going anywhere. It's been a form of medium for over 100 years. So it's so hard to cancel something that is so important. Because not only that, but everybody has a memory with radio, Probably something that you will listen to or your favorite song or your favorite radio show. There's always a memory with radio and there's always a feeling of nostalgia when you switch on your radio. So I think it's far from dying. Hey, kana ngwe ka I buela ka gore ke mo radio mehela I ke bone.
So tell me, how does radio make money according to you, since you are in the industry?
It makes money from its adverts.
From adverts?
It makes money from adverts. It makes money when clients buy time, right? When clients buy an hour of your show or 30 minutes, that's money. When a client says, hey, I am selling this microphone and I need my sales to go up and I want you to advertise this microphone for me, either via interview or via the advert on air, you pay for that. So you basically pay for radio time. You pay for air time. And from paying for the air time, that's how radios make money.
So, you guys don't necessarily make money out of adverts, right? Mainly adverts. What about the music that you guys are playing on radio? Does that make money for you as a radio?
I don't think so. Wait, that's a very interesting question. I don't think so. Because I feel like right now, from the top of my head, music is licensed, right? And then music distributing sites will share music with different radio stations. Arere Burna Boy has released a song. That distribution site that Burna Boy is signed under will then distribute to different radio stations, and then we play the music, right? So I don't see how we would make money from the music, but it is possible for an artist to make money from a radio playing their music, because the more you play it, if you've registered Kobo Sipa, Lebo Cosbots, you will get some sort of royalties depending on the airplay.
So are there any specific changes or trends you've noticed in the radio broadcasting over years? Noticed any changes?
I think, okay, well, with trends, I've noticed that radio stations do their best to stay relevant, right? So whatever's trending at that time, if it is beneficial to a radio station, then they will adapt it. For instance, we never used to hype the radio show on social media. We never used to hype an interview on social media. We never used to say, catch me tomorrow morning, Cat Uncaged, bright and early, Saturday on Facebook or Twitter. We never used to do those things. But now that social media or digital has become a big part of our lives now, we need to adapt to that as a radio station. So we've now involved the art of radio and the art of social media to combine it to become one powerful medium. So that's one trend I can give an example of. I also think that adapting to your target market is also a trend that I've seen, right? It depends. Like, let's say if my target market is 18-year-olds to 25-year-olds, scientifically we are known to have a short concentration span. So my trend or my change would be talking for less, in and out, play you your music, and then I come back. Because I get better 10 minutes, I will lose. Like on the second minute, I've lost you, right? So it is adapting to whatever the society is at that particular point in time. So if the society is a society we watch videos double 1 minute, then I need to make sure that my content can fit into 1 minute. So I think it's just looking at the society, looking at your target market, and then seeing how you can stay relevant. Yeah, I hope I did justice. Okay. Yeah, that's a frequently asked question. So a demo is a short audio of, I don't know the exact explanation, dictionary, but according to me, a demo is a short audio audition, right, or sample of how you sound or how you would sound if you were on air. So a demo would involve your link being welcome back to Yarona FM. I just played you Koi-san, Moleko, and Koi-san is a hot duo, but someone is about 5 and then they cut down to 2, and a lot of us don't know why, but today we're going to be interviewing the 2 remaining members of Koi-san to find out what as well as learning more about who they are in the industry. All of that is coming up right now. I'm going to play you one song, and when I come back from the song, we're jumping into the interview. So that would be a demo, right? So usually, so a demo has to have your name, right? Oh, that I forgot to mention my name. Has to have your name, the name of the show. If you want, you can add the name of the radio station as well, and then your link. What are you talking about? What songs did we listen to? What songs are coming? What's happening right now? So essentially, that is basically what you hear me doing on air. So that would be a demo. So you would send it to whoever needs it, right? Because Yarona FM also recently had a call out for presenters. So you just send them a sample so that whoever it is that's going to be picking the final people can say, oh, okay, but this person has mentioned 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and these are key things when you are delivering a radio link. Gape le gone ba utlwe lentswe, ba utlwe energy, ba utlwe di-vibes. So it's a difficult one. Usually people will always say, Ganda, what's a demo? Can you listen to this? How does this sound? Jang. And yeah, just never be too hectic when it comes to your demo. Like, don't be hectic on yourself. I mean, it's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be perfect no matter how you try. And even when you listen, when I listen to demo ya kaya 2021, what was this? You know, you cringe, but you're given room to grow. You know, you're given room to grow. There's training and all of those things. So yeah.
So what advice would you give to somebody aspiring to become a radio host or enter into the broadcasting space?
My advice is go for it. Go for it. There's nothing stopping you. Oscar retsa batho ba re ha ona radio voice. Oscar retsa batho ba re wa bora. Oscar retsa batho ba re o rile. Go for it, right? There's no one that can say no to you, right? And it's never a no. It's a not now. If at all you tried, you know, you've been applying for jobs as a radio host and nothing is happening, it's not that wabora. Maybe it's not your time yet. Maybe there's still things that you need to learn. And once you've learned those things, you can come back a stronger man or a stronger woman, right? And my advice is put in the work. Practice. Mr. O, our programs manager, love him. Mr. O once gave me this example. You know, sometimes people will say they love radio, they have a passion for it. Put me on air, I have a passion to be on air. But then you would never go to Sidileja Oborona le passion ya gonna surgeon. Right? You would never go to Bukamos or work passionate. I can do a heart transplant. I've been watching Grey's Anatomy. Let me do it. So why do we think the industry, radio can just run on passion? It runs on knowledge. It runs on education. It runs on practice, right? So you need to do your research. What is radio? What's the business of radio? What's the art of radio? How do you stay fly on radio? How do you sound amazing on radio? And then after that, you start practicing. Look into your mirror. I do that. At my big age and where I am in my career, I haven't reached the pinnacles that I want to reach yet, but I am happy. Good morning, 267, welcome. I practice these things, and that's why I sound good on air, because I practice. So you need to practice all the time. Remember the show prep, remember the scripting. Those are things that you need to start doing now, right? And get out there, get information, find information, talk to people, and use that as content. And I think, overall believe in yourself, because nobody was put on this earth to believe in you other than yourself. There's already so many people that, hate you, that are looking down on you, that don't want you to succeed. Don't be one of those people. Have your own.
So I go if they want to reach out to you, connect a little bit better, little pimp.
But a little. Pinky promise. The album cover was going to be like this. Pinky promise. On the socials, I am Catalina Pudi. That's KATALINAPODI. That's Instagram, that's Facebook, and that is also X. And then my personal account is Catalina Onana Pudi. I'm still trying to navigate things because it feels like getting active on my personal account, because it's been years. It's been over 10 years on Facebook. So I'm still learning to give attention to my Facebook page, which is Catalina Pudi. So maybe one day get that deactivate there personally, get focus on more paging, because if I want to work with brands.
Onana Pudi on Instagram, right? On IG.
No, that's Facebook. I get a Facebook card page, and then there's like my personal account. So the personal is the Catalina Onana Budi, and then your page is Catalina Budi.
Okay. Okay, it's nice meeting you, Catalina.
It was nice meeting you too.
I hope our next time what for your second episode, because I like you have that you also have skills in the film industry,
Yes.
right? So I think episode 2 like next time.
Yeah.
Right?
No, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for your time.
Era.